beautiful creatures. Thank you for coming back for another video. Advice from your higher self. So, of course, if this video is not resonating, check out another video. Come back next week. Take what resonates. Never let it take from you. So, let's get started. We have the salamander with grow. And so salamanders are associated in like magic with fire. They always think that they're like a fire retardant animal, usually because they are like fallen asleep in the log and then when it's thrown on the fire, they run out of the fire, but it's really not what it is. It's just kind of what it seems, right? So like born of fire. So I feel like there is definitely something you're growing from, being burned from fire, that phoenix rising from the ashes. Ooh. We have the card hostilities, conflict, unrest. And there's this like jaguar who's like baring its teeth. So I do definitely feel like there's something that some sort of situation you're being born up from the flames of. But that's not in any way, like that's beautiful in its own right. Because you're growing, you're learning, you're transmuting all of that energy into something beautiful, powerful, something of yours. We have the card, oh, I love this. We have the card, Source of Magic. This gorgeous fairy. Oh, that's so beautiful. You really are the source of magic. And that's what this card talks about, being a reminder that like we are all the source of magic. We are divine beings. We are in, we are working with source at all times to really co-create the future that we want for ourselves. So it's like that energy of almost like encouraging delusionalness where we can have everything. So who's to say what is actually delusional? What does that even mean? Who is that delusional to? Unfathomable to some, possible to many. I do feel like, again, whatever comes next, you're being shown that you're at the source of the power, source of the magic, at everything that's creating next. Okay, so we have glove. Actually, put this on the side. We have glove, and it talks about status. I always get like very like feminine energy. It's almost like being afraid to get your hands dirty. I feel like this is a sign of taking off the gloves and almost like removing this sense or these weights from your shoulder. Maybe it is to do with status and like just being your authentic self and seeing the beautiful things that you create from that. So we actually had a second card from this deck, and it was Emily Bronte with Fantasy. And like this talks about how like her entire life she didn't do a lot more than leave the property with her sisters and just like go on walks, but they created this like incredible stories and lands with each other, living in this fantasy world, right? And she passed away super young with, I think, tuberculosis at 30. So like her entire life were within the walls of her home, living out of a fantasy land. So maybe this is encouraging you to step out, either remove your gloves and get your hands dirty, or maybe it's time to put the gloves on and elevate to a new status that you've not experienced before. But whatever it is that comes next for you is going to be incredibly different, incredibly beautiful. What's this last card we have here? We have thriving. And I'm just like, again, these beautiful pinks. I'm just thinking like upper heart chakra, because like upper heart chakra is supposed to be red, but it meets with the divine, so it makes this beautiful pink, and like, which of course the divine is like pure white, and like, so I'm just getting this incredibly, and again the giraffe too, like this higher perspective of the situation. So maybe like you have to be the bigger person, but at the end of the day, it's going to be so worth it because you'll be thriving. But you are being born from this. And again, I wish I could put a name to a situation, but it really is going to resonate different for everyone watching. So like if I had to like have an example, it's like sticking up for yourself, finding your voice. daring to take a risk on a situation that you wouldn't see yourself in, not in anything dangerous. Of course, we never want to encourage anything too reckless, but a risk for happiness, that's the risk you should be indulging yourself in. So I have some tarot cards here to get some more information and advice. Thank you. I get a couple more cards. So weird. I have like my house alone for the first time in like forever. My roommate's gone, and like I feel like I'm whispering still and like everything, like tiptoeing. It's so strange, but here we are on this card also. Okay, great. Okay. Oh, this is really beautiful. So the first card to fly out was the Emperor. We're taking back our power, and like I feel like there's this beautiful sense of like tranquility in this image where he's like watching these kids play by a water, like a lake kind of situation. 10 of Swords. Yeah, because we're tired of repeating cycles. So I always think of like the 9s and 10s of tarot. They're both endings, but how I think of the 9s is we can go through all of the cards, right? Ace through 9. And we can learn that lesson or not. And if we learn that lesson, we go to 10, which is the end. We're ending that cycle completely. But if we don't learn the lesson, or if we haven't quite gotten it yet, we can restart that cycle. And this is telling me you're done. You're choosing. You're the source of magic, right? You're co-creating this beautiful thing. You're ending hostilities. You're growing. So this is not something you have to worry about anymore. This is the last time you'll find yourself in this situation. The 8 of Swords, but you're worried about that. I think you're worried about the confrontation it takes to put the end of the situation. But what I love about the 8 of Swords, and I'm actually going to pick this card up for it, is all of the swords, like, points are face down. So she's binded and blindfolded. She's scared. She doesn't know what's happening. But she's really in a circle of protection while she's making these decisions. So know that when you're ready, you end that for yourself. Wow, interesting. Okay, so the last 2 cards to come out are 9 of Wands and 5 of Wands. So again, the Wounded Warrior. I feel like, again, she's fighting dragons here. And that's maybe how you feel like when it's like approaching these people or these hostilities that you're in. Maybe that's like the energy that you're feeling now. It's like fighting dragons, but it won't always be like that. There will be a time of like peace and thriving, this tranquil Emperor energy, but it's taking control of the situation and speaking your truth. On the back of the deck, we have the 2 of Cups, the Hangman. Ooh, Judgment. And that's where we're going to end that. It's a beautiful Judgment card. So I feel like at the end of this, I think this is talking about the outcome. And I think that's really, really incredible that, again, the situation is all about growth. So you will have it'll be a harmonious ending after a tumultuous period of hostilities, but it'll give you beautiful new perspectives of things. And again, this judgment, this growth, this is meant, so it's actually the card of karma. I don't know if it says 20 karma. And I feel like this is, again, something you're meant to go through. There's no avoiding it. So you can drag it on as long as you want with this like fighting energy, but like the 10 of Swords, like you're done. You're ready to move on from this. And I think that's really beautiful. So know that whatever it is that you have to do to, and let me actually break the deck here, the 3 of Wands. So maybe it's just like, yeah, I'm going to take all of these. So we have the 3 of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Tower. So maybe it's about walking away from a situation, knowing when it's time to like go off on your own. But like, and maybe you're worried about like the backlash of that, but at the end, it will be okay. But we have like waiting for your ship to come in, starting a new journey, and the Tower. Because like I do feel like action's needed on your part, but not in a way where it's like there's no forward moving action. I think it's more standing your ground, speaking your truth. Don't letting, like, we're not a mat to walk on. Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, just start putting those ideas and walking. Yeah, okay, beautiful. Yeah, so just start planting the ideas in these people's heads now. Just slowly but surely. You don't have to change drastically overnight that this is not okay behavior and you're not standing for it anymore. And begin to walk away to your Nine of Cups. So I really do hope that helps you. We do have a couple affirmators here from your higher self. We have this beautiful trauma edition from this, what is this? The Self-Parenting Oracle deck by Dr. Shouty. Oh, thank you. I actually have two flip over. I'm going to take them both because they're just absolutely lovely. So it says, it is now safe to allow myself to begin embodying a version of myself not yet clear to me. I choose to remember that although there still exists a lot of uncertainty as to the end point I am striving to reach, I find clarity and strength each time I give myself permission to engage in the spaces which energize me and lead me to feel even more myself. Ain't that the truth? I feel like anybody can take some great advice in that. So sorry. And lastly, well, not exactly, because I have one more little deck, but it's now safe to allow for the exploration of my unique desires, irrespective of whether or not they seem practical or possible in this moment. I choose to remember when I wholeheartedly embrace the consequence of authentic living and allow myself to take the first step towards the path before me becomes illuminated, inviting experience of magic and miracles. Because we are the source of magic. That I think is the card that was really meant for you. I think this is just a great message. But this is, and again, if that resonates with you, don't let me take away from that. This here, though, that is really speaking to the messages that we've received. Thank you. In the message today. Thank you so much. So we have two cards here. We have the third eye chakra with amethyst, intuition. And it says intuition is the little tug that pulls you towards your light. So definitely be listening to that as well. Oh, and beautiful heart chakra with rose quartz. Self-love. You can only love others as much as you love yourself. So I hope that helps, beautiful creatures. I hope that whatever you're going through, you find your strength in that. And I'm surprised the strength card didn't come out, but then again, maybe I'm not, because when strength is needed, it's because you're fearful, and you're not fearful of the situation. I feel like you're not wanting to hurt someone's feelings, and you're allowing your own feelings to be hurt instead, and that's not okay either. But I love your guts and growth bits. Cheers to your success.